Hey folks, or should I say parafolk, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another update video on Paralives. We got some new information and even video footage to go through, so let's get started. So first off, Alex Masse confirmed that the results are in Paralives, a person will be called a para, and people will be called parafolk. Parafolks with an S is also accepted, as well as short versions, paras, folk, and folks. So that's cool, I'm definitely okay with these names. I was hoping that parafolk would end up being the official name, so that's good. I'm very ready to call my characters in Paralives parafolk. But now let's talk about the new footage that was uploaded to the Paralives Twitter on Thursday. So what we're looking at here is the ability to draw our own lots, and we can even make them diagonal instead of just being a square or a rectangle. So that's quite intriguing, and it even dynamically changes the price as we draw them. And as you can see, there is a measurement system with the meters. And you also have street names. I'll bring up an article in a second from Paralives Hub that goes into more detail about this, but wow, I think this looks really cool. I was not expecting this much flexibility. It definitely makes The Sims look outdated in comparison, but one thing that I am left wondering is how driveways will work with all of this, since cars already were confirmed to be coming to the game. My guess is that driveways, just like with the lots, can be drawn as well for maximum flexibility. There is also some sounds in this video, so I do want to highlight that for a bit because I feel like it's very satisfying. It's just so nice. It really adds to these relaxing vibes that I've been getting from the art style of Paralives. I especially love the pop that was there at the very end. It's just very nice to the ears in my opinion. I also love that you can actually resize lots even after you've placed them. As you can see, just going from side to side, expanding a lot as it shrinks another. I'm assuming you can also shrink lots that are independent of each other. So let's go over the corresponding article from Paralives Hub. They start out by saying, zone out entire neighborhoods. For the first time ever in a life simulation game, players will be given simple yet powerful tools to create neighborhood lots of any shape and size in Paralives. In a recent video published by lead developer Alex Masse, it is demonstrated how a user can, seemingly without limits, customize an entire residential zone in a similar fashion to city building games, such as City Skylines. So that comparison is actually the main reason I wanted to even mention that first paragraph, because I really like City Skylines a lot. I feel like Paralives potentially could be something sort of like real competition for The Sims. I don't know about like killing off The Sims, I think that's a bit drastic, but it was just like, yeah, after SimCity 2013 came and just horribly failed, then City Skylines came later, and now SimCity's just, yeah, just a mobile game I think that's still going, but other than that, yeah, it's basically a dead franchise. So I do think that it is cool that they are doing a sort of zoning thing in Paralives, and it was even an idea I had about a year or two ago in a Sims related video where it was like, oh, what if in the next Sims game you could have it so that zones are like more of a thing rather than it being the conventional lots sort of thing that we're used to. And even though we still kind of have the lots idea with Paralives 2, it's a little closer to where I was hoping The Sims would eventually go. Moving on to the next part of the article, they say, interestingly, we observed how zones are automatically priced depending on their size. In addition, the streets will also be automatically named and numbered too, allowing for more immersive worlds. I really love that. I really love that there's actual street names. I think we might have had that in one Sims game before. Well, yeah, in The Sims 1 we definitely had it. And I can't remember if The Sims 2 had it, or even the later games. Well, no, not The Sims 4. It doesn't have street names. I guess you could name them like a street name if you wanted to, just like in the field where you go and name the lots, but I guess it's not quite the same. But I think it is a good idea to have a solid system in place for street names. And Alex Masse confirms that at the moment, lot prices are $142 per meter squared for every street. Having more expensive areas is a cool idea. I agree, I think that would be a really great idea. It's not exactly the most important feature to me to have at launch, but it would be very interesting, I think, to have an area that's sort of like the Pinnacles in Del Sol Valley, or even just working towards a neighborhood that reminds me of how I wanted to work towards getting that mansion on the hill in The Sims 1. And of course, it would be nice to have some cheaper neighborhoods too on the opposite end, where you could have a really grungy looking neighborhood, and then the price of real estate is so much cheaper there than it is in just your typical white picket fence suburb. However, I do want to have control over that. I don't want everything to just be preset and locked for me. But since so far Paralives looks very flexible, I doubt we would get such restrictions. On to the next part of the article, townhouses, curved streets, and lot expansions. When questioned about the proximity of individual lots, it appears that players will be able to build houses up to the edges of the boundaries of each lot. This will allow for the creation of attached townhouses, also known as terraced or row houses. Wow! So Alex Masse says, yes, you will be able to create attached houses. When placing a wall, it will snap to the very edge of the lot. This all sounds really amazing to me. Just, yes, it is annoying in The Sims just how you can't build a fence on the very edge of the lot. You always have to be like a tile or so in, which can be, yeah, if you really want to take advantage of the little space that you have, it's not good. It's not good at all. And since I do live in a townhouse, I'm really glad that we can create more believable townhouses with Paralives. And then, but what if you wanted to start small on a single lot, then work your way up? What happens when you run out of space to expand your home? Well, it's also confirmed that it's possible to expand the lot size at any time. Furthermore, you may have placed your lot adjacent to a curved road, and now you want to extend your garden along said road? Well, our prayers have been answered, parafolks, with the curve tool. Yes, we will finally have the ability to create curved and even angled lots. So that's cool. I already talked about the ability to expand the lot size, but that's really interesting that we can get curved lots too and not just angled ones. So just another example of how flexible Paralives is going to be. Next part of the article says, customize even further with terrain tools. In light of the amazing world building tools we have seen, it is also worth mentioning that terrain tools are currently in development. We learned about this after last week's Ask Me Anything with Alex. Although we don't yet have much information about the terrain tools, we do know they will be available in the base game, and Alex says there is a terrain tool. Can't say much about the water tool yet though. I already talked about the water tool in my previous Paralives video, but it is interesting that he's not outright confirming the water tool, because I do feel like pretty much always whenever we ask Alex, oh, is this going to be in the game or is that going to be in the game, the answer is always yes, and I just feel like there has to be a limit somewhere. Even though Paralives looks really flexible, it's just like, where is the limit? I'm sure there has to be some sort of thing, especially since at the time of making this video, he's making this game all by himself. Even though this game keeps looking better and better, I still want to keep my expectations in check. And in the next part of the article it says, however, it appears that evidence of terrain tools has been right under our noses. Upon closer inspection of the screenshot below, can we see the results of the terrain editing feature? Notice the walls carved into the grassy hills? I did notice that. I just assumed that was something that was restricted where it already was pre-built. But if it really were possible for us to do all that ourselves, that would be amazing. and then create a world coming after release. Before we wrap up this article, there is one more exciting feature we would like to mention, and that's the additional world creation tool that is due to arrive in a free update after the game's release. From the AMA, when asked if we could build roads, Alex responded, yes, but in the world building tool that will come out later in an update after release. So let's summarize: effortless lot creation, custom lot shapes and sizes, terrain tools in the base game, and a future world building tool. It looks like Paralives, when it comes to building at least, is set to revolutionize the life simulation genre. Heck yes, create a world. That's just the cherry on top. With all this flexibility with building lots and being able to change them later, and the terrain tool, just yes, being able to actually create our own worlds, that's pretty awesome. And at least that expectation is set a bit more realistically too, where it's like, oh no, it's not going to be there right away, it is going to come after the release of the base game. And I don't mind waiting a little bit of extra time as long as the tool is polished and user-friendly, and overall just has a lot of features. And since Paralives looks like so far it's going to be a pretty complete game from the get-go, that's even better. Though I'm still wondering when exactly we're going to get a better look at the Parafolk themselves, because at this point Alex is still focusing so much on the building aspect, and I mean, that's cool. I'm sure this game will be like the builder's dream just based off of what we've seen so far, but I'm more of a storyteller, so I really want to see what can be done in that department. But that wraps up this update on Paralives, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on all of this new stuff, and be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!